guys, my name is Veelia and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be taking a look at the Antoran High Command fight on Heroic difficulty. This is a pretty simple fight and a rather good one for shamans, so let's jump into it. The basis of this fight is simple. The fight consists of 3 separate bosses. Only one boss is active at a time. While one boss is active, the other 2 take control of their individual pods, which give them specific abilities. For the purpose of my explanation, there is really so many different parts to this fight that I'm only going to be focusing on the mechanics that affect the healers, because the explanation of all the different abilities per each active boss would actually just be longer than the actual fight itself. So let's jump into specifics. All bosses share the same tank debuff, which is called Exploit Weakness. This ability deals a large amount of physical damage in a 10-yard cone. It also applies a debuff that increases the physical damage you take by 75%. To avoid getting hit with this ability, the tanks must turn the boss away from the group at all times and make sure to switch on the second stack. Basically here, just make sure to keep an eye on the tanks, especially when they've taken their second stack, as they're taking increased damage and will definitely need some healing. Throughout the fight, Chief Engineer Ishgar will drop mines under the feet of random players while he is in his pod. Every time a mine detonates, it applies a dot to the whole raid that lasts for 4 seconds and stacks. Hitting too many mines before letting the debuff expire is a raid wipe, as 5 or 6 stacks on Heroic could be enough to kill players, especially if no cooldown is used. As a healer, we'll want to keep an eye on the total stacks throughout the fight, and be ready to use a cooldown if too many get popped at one time. Keep in mind that they do have a time limit on them and will explode if not removed from the encounter after a certain amount of time. Another mechanic to look out for are the ads that General Antorus spawns throughout the fight. The Shark Troopers will choose a random target, charge to them, and begin to whirlwind, doing AoE damage to anyone near them. The Pyromancer casts Pyroblast, which is a huge amount of damage to a player. As a healer, we'll need to make sure that people are moving away from the whirlwinds and getting healed up if hit by Pyroblast. The final major ability to look out for on this fight as a healer is the Fusillade ability. I think I'm pronouncing that right. This is an AoE that starts dealing 2 million damage to the entire raid, but grows every time that it goes off due to her zeroing in ability, which increases the damage of Fusillade by 25%. To counter this, the person in the Chief Engineer Ishkar's pod will drop Fellshield emitters at his pod and the next pod. A designated person will click on these emitters to create a barrier, blocking 50% of the damage from Fusillade. However, when the stacks of zoning in get higher and higher, healing cooldowns will be required to combat the damage. So be sure to save Spirit Link Totem and Healing Tide Totem for high stacks of zoning in to combat this ability. And that's about it for this fight. The encounter is pretty simple and pretty fun when you're allowed to go into the pods. Some healers choose to go in the first pod as there isn't a lot of healing to be done in that phase. Good luck on this fight, and be sure to let me know in the comments if this guide helped you. As always, make sure to like the video if you found it enjoyable, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one. You can also follow me on Twitch for live playthroughs and boss kills, and to just hang out with me if you want. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!